That would look like a short swing right there. I don't know if that was a short swing or a full lunge, but Chucky is a 4.4 movement speed killer, so your lunge isn't going to be as good either. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Cam's coaching series, Road to High MMR. This is a series where we take real gameplay from members of the community and break it down piece by piece to help them become stronger Dead by Daylight players, and welcome to episode 1. Today's VOD comes from Just J1, who's been grinding Chucky but feels like the killer just isn't getting the results they expected. They reached out and asked me to review one of their matches to figure out what they could be doing differently, so that's exactly what we're going to do today. Before we jump in, I want to make one thing clear. This series is all about constructive coaching. This isn't about making fun of someone's gameplay or nitpicking every mistake. Every player, myself included, has things they can improve, and the goal is to identify those habits so we can become better players together. As we go through the match, we're going to evaluate everything: the perk build, add-ons, map, survivor pathing, macro decision making, chase efficiency, camera control, movement swings, power usage, and all the little details that can make the difference between losing and consistently winning. If you'd like your gameplay featured in a future episode of Road to High MMR, come hang out with me live on Twitch Monday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Let me know in the chat that you're interested in a VOD review, and we'll get you into the Discord so you can submit your gameplay. Whether you're learning killer, improving your survivor looping, or just trying to take your gameplay to the next level, I'd love to help. With that said, let's jump into Just J1's match and see what we can improve. Just J's Twitch handle will be posted in the description, so you can go drop a follow to them as well. The first thing we're going to look at with this is Jay is playing Chucky. So first things first, the way I'm going to break down your killer gameplay is I'm going to look at the killer you're playing, I'm going to look at your add-ons, I'm going to look at the map, and I'm going to look at your perks. First thing first, we got Chucky right here. Would I judge survivor and killer? I'll judge both. Yeah, I'll judge whatever y'all want. I'll judge anything. The video is paused right now, y'all, so if it does look like it's lagging, it's because I got it paused just for a moment. I will judge killer and survivor gameplay, whatever you want to know. Let's go ahead and break this down together, everybody. First things first, we have Chucky. It's Chucky on the Garden of Joy. So immediately right off the bat, you're playing a B tier killer, Jay, on a very, very survivor-sided map. Garden of Joy is one of the worst maps in the game, especially for a killer that lacks mobility, like Chucky. Your add-ons, we have Rat Poison and Jump Rope, which is really good. I like that a lot. Those are some really, really W add-ons to start right there, Rat Poison and Jump Rope. For the perks, we have Lightborn, No One Escapes Death, Friends to the End, and Tinkerer. Definitely not a build that I would recommend for Chucky. The only thing that you could really keep on Chucky with this build specifically, in my opinion, is Friends to the End. You can make an entire build revolving around Chucky with Friends to the End, but it has to involve some furtive chase in there too for another perk. So your perks aren't really synergistic with each other. Lightborn, I don't know if personally you just take Lightborn because you don't do well with like flashing lights and stuff, but assuming you don't, you shouldn't run Lightborn as a killer. That's kind of a waste of a perk slot when you could be taking more gen regression or a chase perk. And we have Noed. Noed's not really a bad perk in general, but Noed on Chucky isn't optimal because Chucky is a 4.4 movement speed killer. So once you get into the end game, you're going to be really slow. I mean, you'll get a little bit of a speed boost from Noed, but that's going to bring you up to like maybe normal movement killer speed. So you're not really getting the maximum value of Chucky with that. Yeah, you can play around the stealth a little bit and get a sneak attack, but it's really not optimal for him. Plus, if you use your dash when Noed is active, you won't even get Noed value. The perk Tinkerer is not a bad perk, but I wouldn't run it on Chucky either. Tinkerer, I think it's whenever a generator gets to like 70% progress, you become undetectable. The killer does. Chucky doesn't really need that. He really doesn't need undetectable perks. If you want to take my build suggestion, I would totally revamp your whole build. First of all, I'd give you brutal strength. I would also give you nowhere to hide and pop goes the weasel. And then lastly, I'd probably give you corrupt intervention just to slow down the early game a little bit for you. Soft Doll, welcome in. How are you doing today? All right, y'all, let's watch a little bit of gameplay right here and just let me know how the audio sounds whenever we can actually like hear some stuff going on. Okay, very beginning right here of the game. It looks like we're going against, got a Sable over here chasing the parking lot to start. Jay's in power. Oh, nice sneak attack right there. Okay, Jay was able to pull off a really nice sneak attack just using his Chucky power. It looks like the Sable player is a little bit inexperienced playing against Chucky. I'm definitely noticing they're not really observing their surroundings very well, and that's a good thing of Chucky right there. You used it looks like Jay utilized his his power and chase really well. Also did a good job of hiding the red stain too by hugging the car and was able to get a pretty good down right there. So okay, so it looks like Jay has one hook state right now. One generator has been popped already. So immediately in my head, okay, so good job setting up the ambush and is going to get a hit on Fang. Damn, two gens are done already? That's kind of insane. These are some really efficient, gen efficient survivors right here. Good job pre-planning the ambush attack on the generator and a good down on the Fang as well. I could immediately tell with the way the Fang was positioning herself with that window that she's obviously not very comfortable looking for Chucky and Chase too. So these are things that you have to look out for from your survivors when you play a killer like Chucky. I'm immediately looking like who just doesn't look around properly and chase against me, because those are going to be easy targets to get out of the match early. Friends to the end value, it looks like bottom left corner of the map is where Sable was last seen, so Jay's going to go that direction. Probably looking for the Sable. Starting the power now. Someone's behind the car. That would look like a short swing right there. I don't know if that was a short swing or a full lunge, but Chucky is a 4.4 movement speed killer, so your lunge isn't going to be as good either. So if you know you need to get a hit, sometimes it's better just to make sure you're hugging their back when you commit to it. Right here, pallet's probably going to go down. Yeah, there it is. This is where a perk like Brutal Strength comes into play. I'm thinking right there, Jay may have lost a survivor in the bush, and that's why Jay overshot the dash right there. So keeping up with the gen pressure right there by hitting that gen. Ooh, that was really nice. That was excellent right there. That's why I love the rat poison add-on so much for Chucky, because of the aura, and that was a really nice flick at the car at the end too. Good control. Pallet's gonna go down, huh? Yeah, there it is. You can just tell when survivors are gonna pre-drop and pray. Right here, I would love to see a power. Slice and dice, slice and dice. A little bit of hesitation. So when it comes to your build, Jay, I love your add-ons. Rat Poison and Jump Rope are really good. And then, but your actual perk build, I think could be more optimal for you. Basically, I see that you have perks like Tinker, Lightborn, Friends to the End, and No One Escapes Death. So I think you're lacking a little bit of generator slowdown, and you kind of need gen slowdown in the state of the game right now. You need usually about like 2 perks at least. So I would definitely get some gen regression in there. If you're comfortable with avoiding flashlights on your own, I would recommend getting rid of Lightborn. That way you can get a more beneficial perk for you. The perk Friends to the End is not bad on Chucky, but you have to take another perk with it called Furtive Chase to get like maximum value out of it. What I would recommend for you, exclamation mark Chucky, but I would recommend Brutal Strength, Corrupt Intervention, Pop Goes the Weasel, and like Nowhere to Hide. That's going to give you a little bit of aura everywhere. It's going to give you gen slowdown, and it's going to be really efficient. Besides that, right at the start of the match, I recognize that you're on the Garden of Joy. The Garden of Joy is a very, very survivor-sided map, and you're playing Chucky, who is a B tier killer. So immediately right off the bat, the odds are not with you to win this match. So, you know, just consider that too as we continue to watch the VOD right here. Good job doubling back on the Sable right there. That was nice. I can definitely tell you right now, Jay, that whenever you play as Chucky, you can kind of tell which survivors just don't know what they're doing against him. And this Sable right here is one of those survivors. Her camera control, I can look at her eyes. She doesn't know where to look for you. So in my head, I'm immediately tunneling the Sable out of the game just to give myself the best chance of winning this match. You'll come to see some survivors just don't respect Chucky's like physical height in the game, and they panic a lot. Looks like we're going over towards this side of the map. I think this is where the gen just popped. Unhook notification on the other side of the map. Let's see how Jay reacts to this. In this situation, you got 2 options. You can either follow the scratch marks inside, or you can go and punish the unhook. What I would do, so in this situation right here, Jay, what I would do personally is instead of chasing these scratch marks inside this house, because this house is one of the best loops for survivors in the game. This house is a pain in the ass. On the Garden of Joy, this house is a nightmare. So what I would have done macro sense wise is I would have avoided the scratch marks, went immediately back to the unhook notification on Sable. I see on your HUD, Sable's still injured. Sable's on death hook, and I know she struggles against Chucky and Chase. So in this situation, I'm immediately going for the Sable. I'm getting her out of the match. It's Garden of Joy. There's only 2 generators left, and you know that's the way I'm trying to crank this game up and give ourselves a chance to win. So right there behind you at the pallet, right? Yeah, there she was. I saw her. She did a little corner tech right there. Heidi Ho mode right here. Maybe go for the slice and dice. No, Fang's going to take you outside. Fall down. Good hit. Let's see how Fang handles this loop right here. You do a good job of working the third-person camera, by the way. Bolt right there. Double back probably would have been beneficial. There you go. Not bad. I will say that your third-person camera control on Chucky is really good. So you definitely understand like that mechanic on him very well. You do a good job of hiding your face in the wall, which is how you hide your red stain and chase as Chucky because he's so short. I think a little simple double back right there, you would have got her a little bit sooner, but overall good chase. There we go. There's Sable. Sable's on death hook. She's exposed, and it looks like survivors were efficient. I will say, too, the survivors you were going against were very, very generator efficient. You really wouldn't have had a chance to win this game if you didn't tunnel. Honestly, you would have had to have tunneled pretty early. These guys were really, really efficient. Looks like you're kind of camping the area right here because NOED is active. Are you undetectable? You're not undetectable right now, so they can see you. Let's see how much value you get out of NOED right here. There's Fang. She's setting up for the save. You're hiding your red stain, but she can still see like your terror radius, so she knows you're there right now. I say that probably, but I don't know what kind of survivors these are, so. In this situation right here, I'm popping my power to at least remain undetectable. And I'm going to go try to get a hit and get it down.
But this match is okay, fucked up.
Nice. Good down. You got some NOED value right there. Right now, while you got that, someone's probably going... Yep, there it is. Someone was going for the save right there. Do you make this? This is kind of close. Always remember, if you're listening... Yeah, so right there. Jay, I didn't know if you know this, but... And this goes for everybody in the chat, too, that plays killer. Whenever you're carrying a survivor, if you listen to those wiggle, you know how they grunt every time they wiggle? Count to 10. On the 10th one, they will wiggle off your shoulder. So that's why you keep track audibly. So if you start to hear and you're getting close to that 8 or 9 number, you might want to consider dropping them because a dropped slug survivor is typically more beneficial than a survivor wiggling off your shoulder completely like this survivor just did. Because now she's alive, you know, and you kind of lost your NOED value right there. So it's good to track that 10th. On the 10th one that you hear, they'll wiggle off your shoulder. I respect the slice and dice attempt. That's what I would have done right there too. Right here, I'm looking at the door too. Yeah. So going back right there, I would have immediately went for the door. In this situation right here, your NOED is still active. So what I would have done is instead of chasing the Fang after she wiggled off your shoulder, I would have immediately went for the exit gate. I would have immediately went for the exit gate because if a survivor's on it, I have NOED. I can go for an insta down. So that is absolutely what I would have done just to kind of keep the snowball rolling. By choosing to chase the Fang right there, you're kind of gambling if her teammates are on the door or not. So looks like the survivors are not, yeah, they're not respecting NOED being active at all. I don't know why she did that. That's funny. You took advantage of it though. Good stuff. Are you going for the hook right here? Oh, you're dropping. Okay. Maybe you're trying to go for a play where you can get both of them?
No, 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 no.
In this situation right here, I would, let's see. Do you make this? This is pretty close. Pretty close, pretty close. Do you make it? Wow, that was really close. That's pretty tough to call right there. At that type of in-game situation, maybe if you would have took the Fang a little bit further. But then again, I also don't know if you would have had the timing to go back for the pickup. So it's just kind of one of those things where you're just kind of like just going for the gamble and just kind of, you know, going for it. I respect you going for it in the end, though, you know, like trying to get more than that kill and to keep the snowball rolling. So that was good. I think this is the full match right here, right? Let's see if we can see the
Bro,
end
that
game.
was a fucked up match. Ain't gonna lie.
Jay said that is a fucked up match. I ain't gonna lie. W audio.
That was a fucked up match.
Okay, let's see what kind of builds they were running. If you show it right here in the end game screen. Jay said that was a fucked up match. Let's cop them builds real quick if we can see him. Okay, right here. Nia, let's see. Nia had a really weird build on. She had that build perk. What is it? No One Left Behind or something? I always forget what that one's called. Balanced landing, resilience, and urban evasion. Sable, you know, you can kind of just tell that Sable is a Windows of Opportunity user in the match. She was just kind of running and pre-dropping, so pretty standard build of what I would have expected right there. The Fang had an interesting build. Technician, Boilover, Deja Vu, and Windows of Opportunity, so kind of a mix of a little bit of everything, kind of all over the place. And then Fang had Babysitter, Decisive Strike, Lithe, and Technician. It's kind of some interesting builds from the survivors right here. I will say they were very, very, very efficient. From the time I started watching your match, this couldn't have been longer than what, like a 6 or 7 minute VOD, you know? It was very quick. These survivors were very, very efficient at separating and doing gens. In those situations, if you hear, you know, because I think you had 2 gens pop by the time you were done in the beginning. Hold on, let me backtrack a little bit. Yeah, so at this point in the game right here, I think I overshot it just a little bit, but you have 2 hook states. Right now, you have 2 hook states and 2 generators are already done. There is a rule of thumb for Killer and Dead by Daylight, and that's if you don't have 1 survivor killed by the 3 gen mark, at the point where like survivors have completed 3 generators, your odds of winning go down drastically. If you have a survivor killed by the 2 gen mark, like 2 generators are completed, your odds of winning shoot up dramatically. So kind of keeping that thought in your head and how you want to pursue chases. Like in this situation right here, you know, it's all hindsight, of course, and I'm like coaching your VOD and everything, but I would have probably went for a tunnel. I would have went for the Fang or the Sable.